How does a language model actually get its training data? Not in the paper, not in the model card, but in production when you need it at volume, continuously, without getting blocked. Here is the full picture. Where does training data actually come from? There are 4 main sources, and most serious pipelines use a combination of all of them. The first is web scraping, covering things like product data, reviews, documentation, and code repositories. When you see a model that understands natural language across a wide range of domains, it almost certainly got there through web-scraped data. The second is APIs. You get cleaner, more consistent data than scraping, but you are limited to what the provider decides to expose, and rate limits are aggressive. The third is third-party datasets from providers like Scale AI or Hugging Face. These are useful when you need labeled data fast, but the trade-off is that you are working from the same corpus as everyone else, which limits how unique your model can be. And the fourth is your own proprietary data. It's the highest value source you have access to because no one else has it. It requires infrastructure to collect, store, and govern, but that investment tends to pay off. Whichever of these sources you are pulling from, the data goes through pre-processing before it reaches your training loop, but pre-processing only cleans what you collected. The bigger question is whether what you collected was worth cleaning in the first place, and that comes down to data quality. For training data, quality comes down to 3 things. Accuracy, meaning your data reflects reality and is not corrupted or out of date. Diversity, meaning it covers the distribution your model will encounter in production, not just the common cases. And consistency, meaning your labels, formats, and schemas are uniform enough that the model can generalize from them. Poor quality on any of these causes predictable failures. Hallucinations can be traced back to gaps, inconsistencies, or limitations in the training data. A classifier that performs well on your test set and badly in production is usually a distribution mismatch between your training data and the real world. These are engineering failures with specific causes, and most of them start in the collection stage. Everything downstream depends on what comes out of this pipeline. Your training run, your evaluation, your model performance in production. Most of the work that determines whether your model succeeds happens here before the training run even starts. But data quality is not just about what you collect at a given point in time. It is also about how long that data stays valid. A dataset you collected 6 or 12 months ago is already aging. The real world shifts, and without fresh data, your model gradually drifts from it. If your model needs to stay current, a one-time collection is not enough. You need a pipeline that runs continuously, pulls updates incrementally, and doesn't require pre-processing everything from scratch each time. Do you always need to build your own pipeline? Not necessarily, at least not from day one. Open datasets such as Common Crawl, The Pile, and Hugging Face are a valid starting point, particularly for fine-tuning or getting a project off the ground. But there are snapshots, and everyone has access to them. If you need data that is more current or more specific than what they provide, you need your own collection pipeline. But collecting data at the scale modern models require is not a matter of writing a scraper and running it. The environment has changed significantly in the past year. Cloudflare now blocks AI crawlers by default and has introduced a pay-per-crawl mechanism, essentially a paywall for automated access. Over 2.5 million sites have updated their crawl policies to disallow AI training data collection, and modern anti-bot platforms no longer operate at the IP level alone. They detect headless browsers, Datacenter IP ranges, and behavioral patterns within milliseconds. This is why scraping at scale requires the right infrastructure, not just code. It starts with how your request actually reaches the target, and we break this down to 2 options. Residential proxies are the foundation layer, routing requests through real residential IP addresses rather than data center IPs that are relatively easy to block. While for most targets that's enough, modern anti-bot systems like Cloudflare and Datadome stack multiple detection layers simultaneously, covering browser fingerprinting, behavioral analysis, and TLS fingerprinting. For more advanced targets, you need something that handles those layers on top of IP rotation, which is where a web unblocker can help. It can manage fingerprinting, header injection, and retry logic automatically, so your pipeline stays focused on collecting rather than fighting the protection stack on every domain. But getting past the technical blocks is one part of the problem. The other is making sure you have the legal right to collect the data you need. GDPR and CCPA set the baseline, but in 2026, the bigger risk is litigation. Publishers are actively suing over unlicensed scraping, and the question is no longer just about privacy. It's about whether you have the right to collect from a given source at all. That means checking terms of service before targeting a domain, avoiding fields that could identify individuals, and having a data governance policy that covers retention and deletion. Your legal team owns the specifics, but the architecture decision is yours. At the end of the day, your AI model is only as good as the data you collected for it. Getting everything right means having infrastructure that holds up at scale and making sure you have the legal right to collect from your sources in the first place. If you need residential proxies for large-scale data collection or a web unblocker for target protected by advanced anti-bot systems, talk to our team at IPRoyal. We'll help you build the infrastructure needed to keep your data pipeline reliable as your data collection needs grow.